When Jujutsu Kaisen's first console game, Cursed Clash, was released, it was widely panned by critics and players alike, with many claiming that it looked like a mobile game. Now, with Jujutsu Kaisen's official mobile game Phantom Parade releasing globally, I thought it would be interesting to test that claim. To do so, I'm going to compare Cursed Clash to Phantom Parade to see if Cursed Clash is really on the same tier as a mobile game, or if it's perhaps even worse than a mobile game. So, let's get started. Right from the get-go, Phantom Parade takes the lead over Cursed Clash. Cursed Clash's home menu quite literally just takes the anime's opening and uses clips from that with some basic menu elements slapped on top of it. In contrast, Phantom Parade opens with its own unique introduction to its story mode, followed by a fully original animated opening. It's pretty wild that a mobile game was able to get unique anime scenes and the console game couldn't. Let's get into their story modes. Cursed Clash's story mode follows the events of the first season of the anime. Phantom Parade loosely follows the events of the anime, but has an overarching story behind it. Essentially, you are trapped in a cursed spirit's innate domain, where memories are replayed and you must use your cursed technique of Phantom Parade to summon and command sorcerers to traverse through and collect memories. I appreciate an original story in an anime game, but this story mode is a less original story and more so a workaround, so that it makes sense that you're playing with characters who shouldn't really be there, such as the two original characters, which, despite having some basic looking designs, are a welcome addition. I think the funniest comparison here is the presentation of the story, which is in fact better in Phantom Parade than in Cursed Clash. In Cursed Clash, the story mode is told through anime screenshots, text boxes, and the rare 3D cutscene, whilst Phantom Parade is told through animated 2D cutscenes. It's not the nicest looking thing in the world, but it is vastly superior to just using literal screenshots from the anime accompanied by text boxes. However, Phantom Parade isn't perfect, as its localization team left in a number of typos and grammar issues, but I'd still rather take those along with the better cutscenes than Cursed Clash's cheap slideshow. Now we get to the gameplay where things are tricky to compare. Cursed Clash is a fully fledged console arena fighting game, whereas Phantom Parade is a turn-based gacha mobile game. Comparing the two is like apples and oranges. I'm going to compare the two in terms of how much enjoyment the average Jujutsu Kaisen fan would get out of it. Arena fighters have their fans, and gacha games have their fans, but for just the average consumer, I believe Cursed Clash would be more enjoyable. In comparison to other fighting games, Cursed Clash isn't very good. The controls are clunky and stiff, and the combat gets incredibly repetitive, mostly due to this game's cursed energy mechanic, where only some of your attacks deal damage, whilst other attacks just build up your cursed energy meter. This means that you essentially just reuse the same attack strings over and over to build up meter, then release it in one special attack. However, Cursed Clash's gameplay does excel at making each character feel unique. Most characters have special mechanics exclusive to them that work in tandem with their cursed technique from the source material. For example, Megumi can summon demon dogs to fight alongside him. There are some specific character quirks that also add to the fan service, such as Sukuna being able to attack his teammates. So, while the gameplay itself isn't anything to write home about, the character-specific mechanics can provide some entertainment to Jujutsu Kaisen fans. On the other hand, Phantom Parade is your typical turn-based gacha mobile game. You put together a team of different characters, and in turn-based battles, you can choose different attacks and specials to use. It is very basic and very boring, with most of the strategy coming from which characters and which memories to use. Essentially, within the gacha, you roll for characters and memories, with memories being equipable to each character, providing some type of ability. The combat really just boils down to pressing the same button, and if you lose, they're just rolling the gacha for better items, or just using items to level up your characters. There's no real strategy or thought behind it, so I can't see the majority of Jujutsu Kaisen fans having fun with this. This all started because of comments claiming that Cursed Clash looks like a mobile game, but does it really? We've gone over how the story mode cutscenes are superior in Phantom Parade, but in terms of the actual graphics, Cursed Clash is still much better than Phantom Parade. Phantom Parade's gameplay uses 2D sprites with very minimal animation, whereas Cursed Clash is a fully 3D animated game, which, albeit, does sport some lifeless animation here and there, but is still more visually appealing. That being said, there do exist mobile games that look better than Cursed Clash, such as Genshin Impact, but that's a game that's also made for consoles and PC. In terms of games made strictly for mobile platforms, Cursed Clash is still going to look better than all of them. Looking past the unappealing story mode, the repetitive gameplay, and the underwhelming graphics, for the average Jujutsu Kaisen fan, Cursed Clash is still going to be a more enjoyable experience. But here's the problem. It's $60, whereas Phantom Parade is free. But this is probably Phantom Parade's biggest weakness. It's a mobile gacha game, which means that it has been monetized to hell. Like most gacha games, there's an over-reliance on the gacha system, which means you gamble for characters and items. Of course, in the beginning, they give you a good number of free rolls, even one for an SSR character that could be re-rolled as many times as you'd like until you get the character you want. But the pleasantries are just there to get you hooked. You'll soon realize that most of the gachas use paid gems. There's also a battle pass with a paid tier, and you can pay to get additional items as well. There are people out there who like this type of game, God knows why, but I don't think the average Jujutsu Kaisen fan would. Compared to Phantom Parade's monetization, Cursed Clash's developers look like saints. There is paid DLC, but they've also released multiple free characters, which is a welcome addition. But of course, Cursed Clash is still a cash grab. It was still developed for cheap and released at full retail price, despite not earning its price tag. That being said, it is nowhere near as cash grabby as Phantom Parade. So, is Cursed Clash really as bad as a mobile game? No. It definitely doesn't deserve to be priced as high as it is, but if you can pick it up on sale for about $20 or less, I'd say give it a shot. You can definitely derive some fun from it, which is a lot more than I can say about Phantom Parade.